They said XRP would never recover. That Ripple was dead in the water. That regulators would bury the utility narrative under a mountain of lawsuits and red tape. But now, the tides have turned, and the most unexpected source has issued the most earth-shattering projection the crypto world has ever seen. Forbes, one of the most influential voices in global finance, has released a forecast projecting that XRP could skyrocket to an unprecedented $60,000 per coin. This isn't just another wild prediction from a crypto influencer or a fringe blog. It's coming from a legacy financial media powerhouse, the same publication that billionaires, fund managers, and policymakers turn to for insight. And the numbers behind the projection are far more grounded than the critics would dare admit. This isn't based on hype or speculation. It's a calculated outcome of global financial evolution, institutional alignment, and Ripple's relentless execution of its vision for the future of money. The foundation of this $60,000 forecast is rooted in utility, the one metric that actually matters in the long run. XRP is not just a digital asset. It's not just another token in a sea of empty promises. It's a high-throughput, low-cost, energy-efficient bridge currency that was built from the ground up to move value across borders, between banks, and within tokenized economies at the speed of the internet. According to Forbes analysts and insiders close to Ripple, the entire financial world is converging on one reality. Legacy rails are broken. The SWIFT system is slow, expensive, and outdated. Trillions of dollars in value are locked up daily in nostro vostro accounts due to the inefficiencies of the current system. And as trillions of real-world dollars, euros, yen, and yuan prepare to move into tokenized form via CBDCs, digital treasuries, tokenized real estate, and digital carbon credits, the infrastructure needed to connect all of this digital money is going to require a solution that is fast, compliant, neutral, and scalable. That solution is the XRP Ledger. Ripple's ongoing efforts in building corridors with central banks, launching new institutional liquidity hubs, and engaging directly with regulators worldwide are all part of a coordinated move to make XRP the universal bridge asset of the digital economy. And this is where the numbers begin to paint a staggering picture. Forbes reports that over $1.20 quadrillion in global real-world value across equities, commodities, real estate, government bonds, and CBDCs is now on the roadmap to become tokenized by 2030. If even a fraction of this flows through the XRP ledger, the demand pressure on XRP would be astronomical. With a max supply of 100 billion coins, of which nearly 50% is locked or held by long-term investors, the available circulating supply is extremely limited. Pair that with the fact that transaction fees on the XRPL burn a tiny amount of XRP with every transfer, and you have a deflationary mechanic built into the heart of a utility token about to go global. Forbes analysts modeled multiple potential utility scenarios. At 1% adoption of global tokenized flows through the XRPL, XRP's price could push to $1,500. At 5%, the valuation soars past $8,000. And at full-scale integration, where XRP underpins cross-border settlements, interbank liquidity, tokenized assets, and smart contract-based programmable payments across sovereign and commercial rails, the model shows XRP reaching a long-term valuation between $40,000 and $60,000 per coin. And this isn't being driven in isolation. Behind the scenes, major banks, including those in the US, Europe, the UAE, and Japan, have been quietly running pilot programs using Ripple's ODL, on-demand liquidity, and XRP-based payment flows. In fact, multiple nations are reportedly integrating XRPL-based solutions for cross-border CBDC transactions. The World Bank, IMF, and BS have all published documents in recent years highlighting XRP as a viable bridge asset for central banks. And now, with clarity in the US beginning to take shape, the pressure valve is being released. Institutional capital is moving. Wallet tracking services are showing multi-billion-dollar transactions from legacy finance entities to XRP-linked wallets. OTC trading desks are reporting limited availability of large XRP tranches, and exchange liquidity is thinning. This is not retail hype. This is deep-pocketed accumulation. And Ripple's rumored push for a U.S. banking charter only reinforces the inevitable. Ripple won't just work with the banks, it's becoming the bank. And XRP, it's becoming the currency of settlement. What makes this breakout different is timing. The global economy is at a turning point. Inflation is persistent. Confidence in fiat is eroding. Geopolitical tensions are fracturing traditional trade corridors. The need for a neutral, scalable, efficient value transfer layer is more urgent than ever. XRP fits that mold perfectly. With its rapid finality, negligible fees, and eco-friendly consensus mechanism, XRP is built to move trillions at the institutional level, without bottlenecks, without intermediaries, and without delay. Forbes is not alone in this vision. Industry analysts, former regulators, hedge fund managers, and even central bank advisors are now speaking openly about the coming tokenized financial revolution and the role XRP will play in it. So where do we go from here? With regulatory clarity increasing, institutional adoption accelerating, and tokenized finance going mainstream, we are witnessing the beginning of XRP's true breakout moment. And it's not about hype anymore. It's about infrastructure. It's about adoption. It's about inevitability. This is no longer a question of if. It's a matter of when. Forbes may have shocked the world with a $60,000 projection. But behind closed doors, insiders are preparing for even more. Because when a digital asset is no longer traded like a meme, but valued like a utility layer for the entire planet, its true worth is finally revealed. The biggest breakout in crypto history isn't ahead of us. It has already begun. And XRP is leading the charge. XRP is emerging not just as another digital asset, but as the universal bridge asset designed to connect the entire global financial system under one seamless, decentralized, instant settlement layer. And the truth is, the banks know it, the governments know it, and the world is beginning to wake up to the fact that Ripple and XRP are executing a vision that was never about hype, but about total global utility and transformation. Because unlike speculative meme coins or copy-paste tokens, XRP was engineered from day one to solve the $155 trillion cross-border payment problem that legacy systems like SWIFT, with its 3-day delays and correspondent bank chains, have failed to fix for decades. And now the global banking elite have quietly positioned XRP at the center of the future digital economy. Yes, banks love XRP because they see what's coming: real-time settlement, liquidity on demand, and interoperability between fiat, CBDCs, stablecoins, and tokenized assets, all running across the XRP ledger, which is trusted, battle-tested, and lightning-fast with 3 to 5 second settlement finality and near-zero cost per transaction. And when you connect the dots between the Bank of England's digital pound trials, the Digital Euro Association, SBI Holdings in Japan, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the UAE's Emirates blockchain strategy, all of them linked in some way to Ripple, you begin to understand that this was never about retail hype or crypto pumps. This was about laying the foundation for a digital liquidity layer that can support the entire financial system from the ground up. And the reality is Ripple didn't build XRP to compete with Bitcoin or Ethereum. They built it to integrate the trillion-dollar corridors that power global trade, finance, and capital movement. And now, as institutions race to embrace tokenized finance and central banks explore blockchain rails for instant settlement, XRP is the only digital asset with both legal clarity and real-world utility that's already being tested and deployed by financial giants. And let's be real, when the Bank of America, Santander, PNC, Standard Chartered, and over 300 financial institutions signed on to RippleNet, they weren't gambling on a crypto project. They were aligning themselves with the future rails of money movement, and now with the rollout of Rust, the regulated, real-world stablecoin backed by US dollar reserves, Ripple has positioned itself to handle not just institutional payments, but tokenized everything, from real estate to treasuries to carbon credits, all flowing through XRP as the core liquidity bridge. And if that's what being a banker's coin means, being the only digital asset good enough, fast enough, cheap enough, and scalable enough to handle the trillions that banks move daily, then yes, XRP is the banker's coin, and I love it too, because it means we're not betting on dreams, We're holding a key piece of the new financial infrastructure being built right in front of our eyes. And now that Ripple has survived the SEC's war on innovation, now that XRP has been declared not a security in secondary markets, now that the major central banks, market makers, and liquidity hubs are quietly integrating with the XRP ledger behind the scenes, the writing is on the wall.